Hey y'all, welcome back to another flight review. Today we're flying British Airways flight BA2553 with non-stop service between Heraklion, Greece and London Gatwick. We're flying in the Club Europe cabin and we're sitting in seat 4F. The aircraft we're flying today is an Airbus A320-200. At the time of flight, it was 16 years old with her entry in service July 2002, and her registration number is G-GATL. And as always, all flight information will be listed in the description box. As the norm in British Airways narrow-body Club Europe cabins, the seat layout is a 3-3 layout that they label a 2-2 layout, with the middle seat being blocked with an added tray table. My comment is this should be a 2-2 layout because the added width is needed, especially for a flight like this, which is over 3.5 hours. The Club Europe seat has a pitch of 30 inches and a seat width of 17 inches. And here's a shocker. The Euro Traveler, which is the economy section, also has a seat pitch of 30 inches and a seat width of 17 inches. These intra-Europe aircraft from British Airways are also very stripped down. They have no in-flight Wi-Fi, they have no charging ports at your seat, and the only entertainment that you'll have if you bring nothing are the magazines in the front of the seat or the flip-down displays that display the flight information. Now we're going to taxi down to runway 27 with a pretty short takeoff on our route back to London Gatwick.
If the cabin air supply fails, oxygen will be provided. Masks like this will appear automatically. Stay in your seat and pull the mask towards you. Place the mask over your mouth and nose and breathe normally, adjusting the bag to secure it. Please note that the bag does not inflate, and do make sure your own mask is fitted.
Shortly after takeoff, the flight attendants came around the cabin and handed out the menu. One side had the bar options and the other side had the food options. At this time, hot towels were also passed out. A little bit after, they came around and took our order, where I asked for a glass of champagne, and when it arrived, it came with a bag of almonds that were dry roasted. The champagne that British Airways is serving is Champagne de Casino. I'm pretty disappointed in BA that they serve their almonds in a snack bag. They should be serving this in some kind of dishware and preferably warmed up. I do really love the landscape views that you get when flying over European countries, and this is going to be especially great coming back from the Greek islands. It's going to be a great mixture of ocean/beach views, city views, countrysides, and mountain views. I really enjoy this terrain. So meal service has officially began, and the starter comes out with the desserts at once. It's kind of weird, but I guess it's normal for British Airways. For the starter, it was an antipasta plate with a minted yogurt dressing, and the two desserts that you get is a toffee apple pecan wedge and a British coastal cheddar cheese with caramelized apple jelly and crackers. The starter doesn't look like much, but it was actually pretty good. The starter also came with a nice little roll, and I ate it pretty quick, and I was pretty disappointed when it came back with my main that they ran out of extra bread rolls. For my main dish, I went with the braised beef stroganoff with horseradish and parsley mashed potatoes. My wife went with the butter chicken curry with coriander rice, naan bread, and spicy onion bahai, if that's how you pronounce it. Mine was pretty good, but I definitely should have went with the butter chicken curry like my wife. It was really tasty. After I finished my main entree, I moved on to the dessert section, which was again a toffee apple pecan wedge and a British coastal cheddar cheese with caramelized apple jelly and crackers. This was really good, and I got a couple extra refills on my champagne. Once that was cleared, they came around a little bit later for a little bit more of a beverage service. I once again got more champagne, and you could have gotten tea or coffee. Like I said earlier, I can't get enough of these views. Now that we're starting to descend into the London Gatwick area, I will give you my final thoughts on this British Airways Club Europe flight from Heraklion, Greece to London Gatwick. The first thing I'm going to talk about is the cabin crew. The flight attendants on this flight and every other British Airways flight I've flown have been amazing. When you enter the aircraft, they're always smiling and chatty, and they look really happy. This cabin crew was amazing. They were in the cabin enough to where if you needed anything, you didn't need to push the flight attendant button, but also they were laid back enough to where it didn't feel like they were bothering you or anything. Now moving on to the seat. They sell it as a 2-2 layout, but really it's a 3-3 layout. I don't care if the middle seat's blocked, this needs to be just 2 seats in the aisle, so at least you get a better width, especially if you're paying extra money. The seat shouldn't be the same dimensions as the economy cabin. As for the catering, I thought BA did a pretty good job. The food presentation wasn't the best, but it did taste pretty good. British Airways definitely needs to step up their cabin retrofitting. This is just disgraceful for a 3.5 to 4 hour international flight. There's no Wi-Fi, there's no in-seat charging, and there's no IFE. In 2019, I'm just not sure how you charge a premium price for this. I've flown domestic first class, which is the equivalent to Club Europe on Delta from LAX to DFW, which is a 2.5 hour flight, and I've had in-flight Wi-Fi, I've had IFE and in-seat charging. So this is just really disgraceful, and honestly, BA needs to step their game up. And for reference, that Delta flight that I mentioned previously was on a 20-year-old A319, so age of aircraft is no excuse. So in conclusion, the amazing British Airways flight attendants totally make up for the disappointing hard product that BA decides to equip their aircraft with. We're on final approach to London Gatwick, landing on runway 08 right, and I hope you enjoy the landing. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate everyone who watches. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. If I messed up, gave out incorrect information, throw me a comment down below, or if you just want to say what's up, throw me a comment down below. If you like this content, hit the subscribe button. And until next time, thanks y'all.